Hello and welcome to another episode of Wellness with EAC. My name is Nicole Guanzura and I have the distinct privilege of being your host. This week, we have a solo episode, some of my favorites, where you and I get to chat one-on-one about all things career wellness, our faith journeys, and how that intersects with our personal and professional lives. If you don't know me, hello, and thank you for tuning in. I am a career development consultant. I am a mama, a wife, and someone who's really passionate about women's ministry. And on the show, every single week, it's either we're chatting one-on-one like this, or there's a guest that's sharing their story in some facet or form, talking about their wellness journey. We are humanizing the stories and opportunities and people behind the job titles that you see all over the internet. And this week, I wanted to just chat about some of the things that I've been thinking about, and also a resource that I have available for you that our team created about helping you think through, are you really taking care of yourself at work? Or how are you advocating for yourself? In this season of life, I'm recording this in August, where a lot of my higher ed colleagues are getting ready or going back to school already. You're in the midst of training, you're getting ready for students to come, there's new staff onboarding, there's a lot of moving pieces happening. And oftentimes, it's not even that you really got the summer off, you were in planning mode. You were in retreats. You got some pockets of time, but how do you still maintain your pockets of peace in between? How do you finally get those guts to advocate for yourself and see, is my well-being being taken care of? And I wanted to share a resource with you that will do that. And honestly, oftentimes, have you ever downloaded a freebie on someone's website and there isn't really much? I mean, it's just a little bit of a word of explanation, but they don't really dive deep into it with you. And for me, as someone who just went through a whole deep cleaning, not just of my house, but also of my computer, I really had to think about it, and honestly regretting some of the things I downloaded, because I was getting this external hard drive, trying to move everything off of my computer. And it was just taking forever because there was so much stuff. And to be really honest, some of the things I closed my eyes and I hit delete, especially downloads. And if you're anything like me, you know, when you download something multiple times and it tells you how much, I did have a number of those things that were like, this document, and it was version number 6 because I kept downloading and forgetting and downloading and forgetting. So as I uploaded what I wanted to keep on my external hard drive, I had to really think about what is taking precious space in my computer. How am I using it? Is it going to benefit me? And if not, off to the trash it goes for permanent deletion. It's the internet, nothing really goes away permanently, but at least it's off of my computer. So anyway, back to the conversation today. I want to walk you through one of our freebies, and it's the Career Wellness Checklist. And if you go to our website on www.simplyeac.com/freebies, you will be able to download that amongst our other freebies. But for this career wellness checklist, I want to walk through it with you. And if you're on video and you're seeing me on YouTube, you're also going to see me share my screen so that you can see what this looks like and we can walk through it together. So this checklist, if you're thinking to yourself, okay, again, we were talking about how do I care for myself in this season? How do I keep a smile on my face or keep motivated when life keeps lifing at work? Or you're asking yourself, will today be the day that my hard work and my results are noticed, right? Or how could I confidently prepare to ask for a raise at work? Or maybe you're in the job search process, and maybe the questions you're asking are, what kind of skill set do I have? How do I confidently present myself? And when I get the job, right? Because we're positively thinking about this. When I get this job, how am I going to make sure that I have boundaries set? How am I going to make sure that I'm also aware of what's going on at work, when I need to put in implement my boundaries, when I need to also be open to learning, and when I need to be advocating for myself, right? And one of our jobs at EAC is to help you in your professional development. We want you to thrive at work and beyond. So we're doing that through the intersection of professional development, mental well-being, and financial literacy. And when we're thinking about the math equation associated with this, which I never thought I'd been thinking about this as a math equation, honestly, but thanks to my bestie who helped me come up with this, we were really thinking of, well, when you are adding career confidence with your career wellness, that is going to directly equal your career success. So here are the instructions as you're downloading this freebie. First of all, set aside about 25 minutes to go through this exercise. And you can go through it now if you're at the beginning of your year, or you're honestly a little over halfway through the general year, the calendar year. If you are in higher ed, you are at the beginning of your academic year. So just take a little bit of time and decide, okay, when will this be helpful for me? And set aside 25 minutes. And in that 25 minutes, find a quiet spot and get some time, put some time together, find a quiet spot, a comfy spot. For me, I have what I'm now dubbing in the season of life, my thinking chair. It is this like big, bulky brown chair that is not aesthetically pleasing at all. However, it reclines, it is cozy, it has a blanket, a little bit of a wrap blanket that I really love. And it used to be in one season of my life a nursing chair. But our baby girl is 6 now, so not needed. She doesn't have a crib anymore. But for me, it's now my thinking chair. It reclines, it's comfy, it's cozy. I set that time aside to hang out in that corner and read or just think or just take some time. So find your corner spot. Honestly, for some folks, it might just be a corner on the floor and you feel really comfortable there. Once you've found that, you've got your 25-minute timer set up, find your thinking music or your focus music. For some people, it's just going to be some quiet background. For me, it's brown noise. If I need to focus, it's brown noise. Some people will use pink noise, white noise, whatever is going to work on whatever frequency works perfectly. Brown noise for me helps me focus, and white noise just sounds like noise. Don't ask me the difference between the noises. I don't know, but the brown noise works better for me. So I've linked a timer for you that you can use, and I've also linked a sound in there for you that you can use. And once you have your environment set up, and let's now get together. This PDF is something that you can write in and you can start to jot down some answers. And if you're thinking, hey, I'd like somebody to go through this with, you can contact us and we will help you start out your career success plan. We'll help you map that out. And then there's also a podcast episode on career wellness that I'm also going to link in the show notes. So let's get into it. I'm going to share my screen with you. So if you are on YouTube, this will be a really good time to tune in. If not, I'm just going to say it out loud so that if you're taking us on the road with you, you can come back and take notes, or you can come back and just connect with us a little bit later when you're in a position to take notes or you just listen in. So I'm going to share my screen with you here, and we're going to go through this list together. Again, it is on our website at www.simplyeac.com/freebies. And it is your career wellness checklist. So these are the 5 questions for your career wellness. We're helping you reframe what wellness means in your career today and beyond. So, one of the first questions or thoughts that we really think about is what are those skills that you have, right, that haven't really had a chance to be shown at work, right? What are some of those hidden gems? A skill that you usually show maybe in your closest friend circle, but maybe it's really a great transferable skill that you can turn into a training tool at work, or you can contribute for an icebreaker at work. Maybe it's a skill that you have been complimented on very often, but haven't taken the time to notate it. I want you to take the time now. So, what is that skill? What are those hidden gems that you have that you haven't had a chance to showcase? Maybe they haven't come up in a while. Maybe people are complimenting you on them a lot, but you just aren't showcasing them in the way that you normally would. I want you to take a moment to write them down. And while you're thinking about that as well, I'm going to continue with the questions. However, you take all the time you need. You can pause me right now and just take a beat before you go to the second question. So, the second question, let's talk about life outside of work, right? Have you ever thought about how your passions and activities outside of work influence your performance in the office, right? It's really interesting how our personal world can sometimes color our professional. So, what's the story there, right? Maybe it's just thinking out loud of, when we talk about showing up as your authentic self, right? There is definitely some fine lines around that. You want to show up as your authentic self while still being respectful, while still honoring other people's boundaries, while still honoring what's valued at your job, but still showing up and saying, this is my signature, right? This is my sauce. This is the reason why you hired me. So even if it's not something that you want to show at work or go put on a review right now, I just want you to think about that particular, how your personal world colors your professional world, and just to remind yourself, like, okay, I've got the sauce. Yes, this role, we might be 16 analysts on this floor, but they hired me because of what I uniquely contribute to this role. It doesn't matter what the other analyst brings, it's what I bring to this role. And it only matters what's going on with the other analyst when you all are collaborating. But as long as you're reminding yourself of, this is the sauce that I bring, these are the skills that I bring, right? Because question 1, no skill left behind. And then thought number 2, question number 2, we're thinking about life outside of work. And for number 3, let's talk about the boundaries at work, right? Have you ever thought about how workplace etiquette and self-advocacy find a seat at the table together? Think about those moments where you've been able to maintain professionalism while standing up for your beliefs or for your needs at work, right? For me, one of the things I pride myself in the most is I'm now more comfortable in standing up for what I need or saying no in circumstances that just don't serve me, or don't serve my values, because I don't want to compromise that. As you all know, you may know, I'm a woman of faith. So my values are going to be centered around what's going to please God. And if I'm doing this work, I'm doing it as if I am doing the work for Him. And so my standards are going to be much higher. My values are going to be much higher. And that's what dictates how I approach certain things. And honestly, remember the Destiny's Child song? Might be aging myself a little bit, but I think it was Survivor. And one of the lyrics says something like, I'm not going to diss you on the internet because my mama's taught me better than that. So my mom taught me, just kill them with kindness. Just kill them with kindness. And there's a way to do that without being a pushover or being walked all over. So it's something, and someone is insisting that you do things a certain way or insisting you do something that's going to come out of your boundaries. And it's being able to respond in the most professional yet firm tone. Sometimes you've got to come, come with a little bit of firmness, but don't let anybody else externally make you come out of character, because you can't control how they react, but you can control how you react. So for me, I really pride myself in, how am I talking to this person? How am I addressing this person? And it's okay if we agree to disagree. However, I'm going to translate everything I'm saying so that you're not going to be able to turn around and say, Nicole is absolutely terrible. She called me names. She did this. She did that. She snapped her fingers at me in Z formation. Again, aging myself. I'm a millennial. She's not going to, you're not going to be able to say that about me, because I'm going to share with you, hey, these are my thoughts, or hey, these are accommodations that I need per our company policies. Is this something you could support me with? Right? Is this something that you can help me with? Okay, if you're not the right person, would you be able to point me in the right direction? Oh, okay. Well, you're asking me to do this. From what I recall and understand in the handbook or what the policy says, this is beyond my scope and hours. Could we sit down with my manager to discuss this? Could we sit down, so that people also feel like they can't just come at you. But also, when you say things, it's not just saying things to be out of pocket. Enough about that. Boundaries at work. Really, really important, not just to have them, but to also implement them and be confident in just, okay, you know what? This is what I stand for. This is what I believe in. And so this is it, right? Unplugging after hours. Y'all, I am working on this, right? Think about, what's your secret to really switching off after work? When you close your laptop, are you mentally signing off too? Because I close my laptop some days and I'm still checking my email. I'm still thinking about it. I'll check again one more time before bed. Or, oh goodness, okay, then I see that email and all I can think about is, let me just get it out of my head. Sometimes there are times when I have to think about work a little bit, because in the morning, I'm going to be doing something different, right? Or my schedule is going to shift. Or right now in the summer, my church does playground and popsicles. So on a Friday morning, I might be taking my kids to playground and popsicles. So I'm not going to be available on a Friday morning. However, I'm going to respond to all the emails that I need to, even if it takes me an extra hour after work. And I'm going to put those things on delayed delivery. So they are going to deliver to you on Friday morning, but I am nowhere near my desk. I did that the night before so that all those thoughts are out of my head, right? Honestly, I even do that with text messages. So someone sends me a text. If I don't respond immediately, then oftentimes I'm going to forget. I'm going to take 2 to 3 days, and it's not good. It's not kind. So often what I'll do is I'll respond immediately, and then I'll set it to schedule out for an hour from then, the next day, if it comes in really late or whatever else, so I can still have boundaries, right? Are you catching the theme with this? We talk about your skill sets, right? Recognizing your skill sets and strengths. We talk about your personal and professional worlds colliding. We talk about boundaries while you're at work. We're talking about boundaries while you're at home as well, right? So those are some of my tricks as well when I just think about, I need to get it off my mind, or just write it down, do a brain dump on a piece of paper. And then the next day, if you're like, I'm going to forget it, write it down, close the door, go enjoy some quiet time, or go enjoy some wild time. If you have kids, usually for me, it's getting off of work and just enjoying time with them. This evening, I was able to prep some dinner. And my daughter wanted to help. We were taking a TV break, and she wanted to help. So she got to mix the cake that we're making for dessert. So her and I were just hanging out while I'm prepping and marinating the chicken and she's baking the cake, and we just got to hang out, and that allowed me to unplug for a little bit. And then the last question is really thinking about, while it is fantastic to be a great team player, collaboration is so, so important no matter what you're doing, whether you're a student, whether you're a professional. It's great to be a team player, whether you're in a relationship. Honestly, being a team player works all around, right? There's that corny but well used team. There's an I, right? There's no I in team. But also, as you are being this fantastic team player, are you also in your own corner, right? Are you advocating for yourself with the same vigor that you do for others? And this also goes back to some of that boundaries at work. It comes back to some of those skill sets at work. Because when I think about, well, I'm not advocating for the things that I need, or when a client is needing something and that just doesn't align, how can we advocate? How can we meet in the middle? Or sometimes how can we make the decision that we're just not going to be able to work together? Or if you're thinking about it in a relationship, how are we working together in a marriage? How are we working together to make sure that our plans in life, the things that each of us are responsible for, are we're honoring that? And your relationship with yourself, honestly, your voice matters there too, right? When you think about your mental well-being, are you being kind to yourself? Are you really, though? Are you being nice to yourself? The way you just talked about yourself today, would you talk to your bestie like that? Would you allow someone to talk to your bestie the way you just talked to yourself? If not, then you've got to be your own bestie. You've got to be your own advocate and remind yourself. Or also be able to call a friend, phone a friend and talk to them. Hey, keep me honest on this. This is a situation that's happening. At work or at home or whatever, if it's a safe space, right? Keep me honest. You're my friend. You need friends who are going to be able to tell you the truth. Am I coming out of pocket? Am I reading this way too deeply? Am I overthinking this? Help me balance. One of my best friends, I've known her since I was 15. And so she has seen me through every single season of life. So when she's telling me about something, I know she has so much context. I know she has so many things that she's going to say to me. And she has a way that she says some things and she'll be like, friend, friend, either here's the advice straight up or, yeah, this is a you need Jesus moment. And my sister is the same because my sister is my built-in best friend. Shout out to you, Gigi. My sister is my built-in best friend, and she'll keep it real with me. My siblings do the same thing to me, and you need those folks in life. You need someone at work as well, you know, who's going to serve as a mentor, right? That can keep it real with you. Of hey, you know what? When you are speaking about this, or when you're talking about this, this is a better way you can handle this. Or I would love to see you advocate for yourself a little bit better in this respect. We need those people, absolutely. But that's enough about that right now. So we just covered a couple of questions and thoughts for your career wellness. One, are you utilizing all of your skills? What skills do you have that are kind of lagging behind, skills that you haven't really fully thought about that you need to bring back to the forefront as you advocate for yourself? How is your personal world coloring your professional world, right? What's the story there? Boundaries at work. Reflect on those moments when you've maintained professionalism while standing up for your beliefs or needs. Unplugging after hours. What's your secret, right? Are you really switching off after work, mentally, physically, emotionally? And then your voice matters. Would you talk to your bestie the way you just talk to yourself? Think about it. So those are the 5. And then one of the things that I want you to do is over the next couple of weeks, right? Do this, commit to yourself, right? Write this down, commit to yourself. What are 3 things you want to accomplish by the end of, say, the next 6 weeks, the end of 12 weeks? Give yourself a timeline, a deadline. Write it down on your calendar. What are 3 things you want to accomplish based off of that list you just created? Does this mean that you want to create a little brag board about yourself? Do you want to call Team EAC and talk to us about mapping out your career success plan? Do you want to start preparing for a little bit earlier for employee evaluations? What does that look like? Do you want to level up your business to the next and greatest height, right? And what are those 3 things? So future you will thank you. Isn't it always the best time when you look and you're like, man, thank you so much for doing that thing, because now I'm better set up for the future. I always do that to myself. I'm like, thanks, Nicole. Thanks, old Nicole, because future Nicole right now thanks you. Or I'll say something, I'll do something right now and say, future you is going to thank you. Just go ahead and do it. Just go ahead and do it. So there is a commitment form that you can have, that you can fill out. And then, of course, keep in touch. Keep in touch. I would love to help you. And this form, again, is available on www.simplyeac.com/freebies. I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and we are just going to get back to the screen one-on-one. What did you think about that? Did you like going over these kind of freebies? And if so, I'm happy to do that in the next couple of solo episodes to just walk you through what to expect. So when you download this, you almost have an accompanying video, right? An accompanying mini training. Let's do it together. So let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I'd love to do more of these if you find them helpful for you, or if there's something that you're like, Nicole, I'm reading this thing about career development, professional development. I'm really thinking about that. Or, hey, there's this thing that is happening at work that I'm having a challenge with. I'd love to connect, and share about it on the podcast. Of course, maintaining your privacy. We can do this anonymously, because most of the times when you have a question, somebody else has a question. And on this side of career wellness, there are no dumb questions. Seriously, ask me. I want to talk about it. This is a safe space to do it, because then we can talk about it, and then you are better prepared to have the conversation later with whoever it is that you felt intimidated. But feel free to talk to me as this like safe space sister, that we can chat about, safe space friend, safe space, internet stranger, however you want to view me. I'm here as an advocate for you. So I really enjoyed chatting with you. I hope you enjoyed this episode and podcast. If you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the comments. This episode, you're probably watching it on YouTube if you love a good visual. Otherwise, it is also available on Spotify. It is available on iTunes. It's available on YouTube Music. Go to Listen Notes. You're going to be able to find a little bit more there. Subscribe wherever you are. Turn on the bell notification so you can be notified every single Wednesday when I share a podcast episode. Until next Wednesday, thank you so much for tuning in. Take care and be well.